Lab, Titration, LabQuest, or Vernier. This is our lab write-up for the titration lab using the pH meters. As you'll notice, I currently am losing 5%, and the 0 points out of 23 has a little asterisk, a little star. The reason for that little star is I'm choosing to use assigned data. Some students didn't complete their lab for one reason or another, and you needed to get it to make a sigmoidal curve or an S-shaped curve. So you'll be taking a 5% loss if you choose the assigned data. Some of you have to. You're basically getting penalized for poor lab performance after the fact. So if I go ahead and change this to student data, you'll notice that I now just have 0%, and it's still 0 out of 23, but there's no longer the little star. If I scroll down, you'll notice that I have a graph going on. You won't automatically have a graph. The reason is we need to go ahead and click into the student data using the click the link right here, or going down here to the student tab and just going ahead and clicking it. You'll see that I already have some data entered in. Now, towards the end of the day, I started telling people just to save time, go ahead and type in the amount that you started with in the burette. So some of the burettes might have been at, say, 22.3. That way, when you went ahead and you added titrant, let's say it went down 3. Well, we'd end up making this 25.3. And this one moving 5 from the original 27.3. And if we go back to the lab titration, you'll notice that my graph's going to be a bit messed up because it's way over here for some of them and way back here for others. And you'll notice that these are all negative now. And that's because what it's going to do is subtract your starting amount. Now, if you were one of the earlier classes, you would have gone ahead and stated that you started with 0, even if you were moving forward from a later titrant location, say that 22.3. I just made you go ahead and use a calculator and figure out that you changed by 3 or that you changed by 5. Now when I go back and look at the graph, it's all fixed, no negative numbers, because it's subtracting 0 from everything. If I've put in my number, like I'm supposed to from the start, I can go ahead and see that if I did select assigned data, a graph goes ahead and happens for me. Now with this, the trend line is supposed to connect the dots a little bit better. So after you go through number 3 and number 4, which are supposed to be givens, you were told that we had a 0.1 molarity and that your original sample that I used the pipette and got you 10 milliliters of HCl. Those are supposed to be givens. So after you move past them, when you're trying to place your unknown is supposed to basically be the equivalence point. It's not really an unknown, it's just you trying to place another dot. So I might actually change this by the time you get a chance to open the lab. So we go ahead, and the equivalence point should be around 7 because it was a strong acid with a strong base. And if I look at this and just try to drop down, I see that it's probably around 12.5. And I can see that went a little too far, so let's go with 12. Now, I like that better than having it actually touch the line because it seems like it's more in line with the 2 dots that I do see. If I thought that my equivalence point would end at a different pH, maybe I thought the middle between here wasn't actually 7, it was more like 8 or maybe it's 6, I could state that here. That way it can actually give me a chance to move my dot up or down. So there's at 5, here's at 8, again it defaults to 7. After that, I need to go ahead and check through this. If I believe that this is accurate, if you have your equivalence point where it belongs, I'll go ahead and change this to yes. And you'll see that we've got some stuff turning green that I've already filled out. Normally it'll just be at a no. Now down here, you'll notice that it just looks like I slid my decimal point. We did go over this in class, but if you take a look at this, this is all the work there. Let me go ahead and delete a few things. Delete, delete, and you'll notice that it fills in with question marks. Let me scroll back up to the top and delete these two, and you'll notice that it also fills in with question marks. So that's what's going on here with that. Again, you're going to take a 5% loss. Let's see what my score is if I put in the right thing. Oh, I'm nearing having an actual percentage. I'm getting a little bit closer. Let me go ahead and put that where I had it. Oh, doesn't have a score. Let me even solve this. It doesn't have a score, and the reason is you're waiting on me. I have to go ahead and approve this. Once that happens, though, woohoo, I've got most of my points. The rest of them are true and false. So go ahead and read through all these different sources of error that may have been encountered and answer true or false. When you're done, go ahead and click Submit. Remember, one of the biggest things is going to be the Student Data tab. Make sure you fill yours in accurately. I'm going to go ahead and delete all this. You do have the ability to add in as many as 75 data points, although I don't think anybody collected that much data. With the other one, the one that is the assigned data, that one does occupy all 75 dots, trying to give us a more adequate line. All right, have a good day and make sure you complete your lab.